Hey.
Fuck yes. Finally, episode 1. Lockdown's over. We can finally do it. Laurence, how you going, man?
I am all right. How are you?
I'm getting there. Might need a few of these teas. Get me going.
Just on a long black coffee.
Long black coffee. Is that what you drink? I'm a long black guy myself.
Yeah, I'm a long black.
I think you put milk in the coffee, you fuck it up.
Yeah, I don't think that was the initial intention as well.
What do you reckon it was?
To have it black.
All right. I thought you were going to bring some pipes in.
I did, but
You did?
I didn't think I'd be allowed to smoke them in here. So.
No, I just want to look at them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
I'll show you. I've got.
One day we'll have our own studio. You can do whatever the fuck you want in there. But
I'd be very excited for that. I
That'd
do
be
that
good.
I do that at home already. I probably shouldn't admit that, but.
oh man, look at this thing.
So I got sick of losing all my good quality briar pipes at gigs and falling out of my jacket pockets and stuff. So I just thought I'd invest in some cheap corn cob pipes, and then
These actually made a fucking corn.
yeah. So there's
That's legit.
the plantation workers on the cornfields in India used to construct pipes out of corn cobs and then just jut one of these bamboo stems into the side of them and smoke out of that.
Nice.
And a couple of years ago, one of these pipe companies was started when a family took over one of these old plantations in India, and then discovered some of these. They excavated some of the land and discovered some of these sort of put together pipes, and they're like, well, this is a secondary income we can have for the company, and so they started releasing pipes off their
Oh, shit.
corn plantation.
That's wild. Is this? And that's not wood there. That's corn.
That's just corn cob.
Straight corn cob.
Yeah, they just dehydrate it, hollow it out, jut a stick of bamboo in the side for me to smoke out of, and then people can tell me to put it in my pipe and smoke it.
Jesus. Well, how much are these then?
That was only $6.
$6.
So the good old Irish ones I've got are like $50-$60, like been passed down generations, or you can buy the brand new ones that are over $100. But you lose one of those at the tote, and you think about it the next day.
Yeah,
you think about it for the next few days, and you're like, fuck.
That's why I love cigars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Except
still disposable, but without the unenvironmental butt at the end of it, which is what cigarette smokers do all the time, is just litter the world with their butts, and cigars are far more
cigars
friendly.
are the best, aren't they?
They are the best.
They are the best. Except I remember when we did Fortitude Valley, I was like, because at gigs, like before the gig, and they were like having a stogie, and I went out and I got a proper like Cuban one, it was just about to close. So I made the boys walk with me, and I'm like, cool, got it. And he was like, cigar, like I'm like, yeah, I want a cigar, and he got it out and stuff. I'm like, sweet, hasn't warmed back, wouldn't light. So there was a hole in it somewhere, and I was like halfway, and the store already closed. I'm like, you piece of shit. Like God, and I still gave it everything. I still like it's got a light somewhere. Like
I would have done that as well.
100%.
Yeah, I love a cigar.
These corn pipes.
Pipes are what I smoke because I can't afford to smoke cigars all the time.
That's true.
Also, if you start smoking and you're like, I'm going to settle in for a half-hour smoke here, and then something pops up and you're like, fuck, I've got to go, you can just put it straight in your pocket. You can't do that with a cigar. You've got to sit there for 5 minutes while it winds down.
Cause I don't even see what the hole is for that.
Oh, it's beneath the tobacco.
So there's tobacco in that.
Yeah.
So that's good to go.
Yeah, that's
smoke
straight up.
Was there different tobacco that you use for the pipes?
Yes. So 90% of the world's tobacco is burley tobacco. That's what they put in Taylor cigarettes.
Okay.
And most rollies.
That
but
dry
there's
stuff, huh?
Yeah, but there's it's kind of a really bland tobacco, but there are tons of different strands of tobacco, like Latakia, Oriental Perique, and so pipe tobacco is generally made up of blends of different tobaccos.
Okay.
So I think I was reading about a tobacconist in Germany, and their ledger had over 2,000 different mixtures of tobacco, because the guys from the town would go in and they'd be like, oh, I'd like it to have 10% Perique, 20% Latakia, like have their personal mixture. So when they go in to refill their tin at the end of the week for the weekend, like they look up their mixture in the ledger, roll it around in the barrel once they've added all the different percentages of the tobacco, and then the guys walk out with their tin.
Oh,
So that's still the thing with pipe tobacco now. You buy a mixture of tobacco. You can get pure Latakia, pure Perique, but it's unless you really like that particular strand of tobacco, you'll get a nice blend. And so there's English blends, Irish blends, like American blends. You can get rope tobacco that's just like I've bought half a meter of Virginian red tobacco once, and that was some really strong stuff.
What do you do with that? You just cut it off?
You chop it into coins.
Okay.
And then you pack it down the barrel of your pipe, and then you smoke it like that.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So it's. Someone asked if you can smoke it like a cigar once, and I was like, no, because there's no wrapper holding it together. So it's essentially you picture pipe tobacco rope is it's
that?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, good. We're having a sensible conversation. You fucker. You smoke it like that. You go fuck yourself. Well, that's interesting, as because it's like you just don't see it. But I see you doing it, and I'm like, that's dope.
It's an outdated form of smoking. I think it. Cigarettes.
Smoke, it should be cool like that.
Well, I think. See, that's the thing. It's like everything in society became disposable. Like you used to get your little box of condoms filled up at the chemist, but then they brought in disposable packets. You used to use paper bags or walk out of the grocery store with your boxes out of the fruit and veg shop. But now you just use it.
One. Like they wash them for you or something.
No. You just they you know how you go to the shops now and you buy like a box of Ansel condoms. Yeah. Back in the day, you used to go to the chemist and they'd give you they'd still individually wrapped condoms, but they put them in like a carry away box for you.
Okay.
You didn't like buy the packaging and then throw the packaging away because everything is packaging.
Boxes and they had like some dude with like. Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Pipe tobacco was the same. You didn't used to just buy endless tins. You'd have your one tin, you go refill that at the end of the day. So it's like, as everything became more disposable in society, smoking was the same. Cigarettes are easy to just smoke and then throw away. You don't have to wash it out. You don't have to carve out the dead, like, crusty tobacco in the bottom of it. And look, the concept of looking after things is completely bygone this generation.
That's true.
People are starting to get back into it now as like
You're bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back in a small way.
I was already on board with the cigar thing, which I don't think a lot of dudes do. Especially at most gigs, you never see people smoking cigars.
No, you don't.
Which I love the most because it's the most offensive thing you can do in a smoking area, because you spark one of those and everyone smells it.
It's so funny you say that. The first time I went to a strip club was the Dallas Bar were they on King Street? Dallas Bar on King Street.
I think it's the only strip club I've never been in.
Right.
And you know. No.
I was 18 and really, I just moved to Melbourne. I was going to La Trobe Uni. I was 18. I was in my first strip club and I was just a really obnoxious kid. And we're in the downstairs part of the Dallas Bar and I pull out this fucking 9-inch Cuban and light it up, and this bar, either manager or just bartender run over and says, "You can't smoke that in here. You're going to smoke the joint out." I'm like, everyone else is smoking, and it was guys just smoking cigarettes, which I guess is like relatively inoffensive smell compared to this 9-incher I just filled up the place with. Because this was before July 1st, 2007. This was in the first part of 2007, just before the smoking laws changed in Victoria overnight.
Yeah.
The night that they changed, I was in Father Flanagan's Irish pub on the corner of Smith Street and was it Alexandra Parade, I think it was, where what's the live music venue that's there now?
Jackson?
No, it's the I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I was there on June 30, 2007, and you couldn't see half a foot in front of you. Like, everyone was just living it up for the final night that you could smoke inside bars in Victoria. And midnight hit. It was a Thursday night, I'm pretty sure, and midnight hit, and the staff ran over and opened all the windows, and the smoke just seeped out, and everyone was butting it out, and I will never forget that. It was the last time you could legally smoke in a bar in Victoria, and it was glorious.
That is awesome. I'm glad you can't smoke in bars now. But as a kid, though, because I grew up with watching my dad and that play, and the bars were always filled with smoke. There was something better about walking into a bar that smelled like piss and smoke. It was just, it had that aura about it, like that made it that pub vibe a pub vibe.
I think think it provided a relief for an expense that bars can't avoid now. Now, like, bars run the risk of stinking of piss or stale beer or spilt
Stinky
drinks
carpets
everywhere.
and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
So they have to invest in air fresheners. But back when you could smoke inside bars and pubs, you didn't need an air freshener. Like, nothing was going to remove that. And so you just
Air
accepted
fresheners
that
are pretty cheap.
everything just... But not anymore.
I don't like it just for the fact that, like, I see a lot of the pubs in the suburbs and that now have, like, heaps of money because everyone goes there and they've all been renovated and they're, like, usually, like, a half restaurant who have good chefs and, like, a good pub feel, but everything's all clean. They still haven't got bands back in the suburbs yet, you know?
So you're pro gentrification of the Victorian pubs?
No. I love that whole
the
vibe,
old school.
that whole vibe. I also don't think, like, in this day and age, more people don't smoke than do smoke.
Sure,
and
yeah.
when they come out, that, like, you know, I know if I'm in the smoking area with a cigar, I'm like, well, everyone can go fuck themselves because this is what we're doing.
And also,
We're
you're outside. Like, it's not going to hang in there.
Yeah. But I think smoking inside, especially if someone's there to drink and you're like, I don't smoke, and everyone's just fucking filling a room. But I would think it would be cool if you could have a bar or two or whatever where it was like, we smoke here.
You can. So there was a
With
cigar bar.
bands.
There was a cigar bar. Yeah. See, now that's the part that it's lacking because if there was a cigar bar in the eastern suburbs, there's Polybar on Brunswick Street, but you don't smoke inside the bar part. It's out the front, technically outside, but it still feels like you're inside because it's like right deep in a veranda-esque kind of area of the bar.
See, they're just really
And
trying to hang onto it.
See, yeah, and Crown Casino as well. There's a room where you can smoke, where the high rollers can go and they can smoke inside. So there's like 3 places in Victoria where you can, but you can't see live music at the same time. So that niche market designed specifically to cater to Max Shepard and Laurence Hewson might not quite be a big enough market to justify bringing live bands into smoking pubs yet, but we can dream.
True. We can dream. I mean, to be fair, I've been to a few gigs where people like to join on stage.
Yeah,
and no one said shit.
See, but that's dealers' choice. They're playing the music, and who's going to walk up and say, "I'm going to shut this show down" unless you put that out?
Well, I kind of thought that if I thought it was kind of legal because if it's part of your performance, you could probably get away with it.
I have wondered about looking into that before.
I would,
and yeah, you know, I think I might have
like
a look.
what Ron White, the comedian, and that he smokes stogies on stage, no worries.
Yeah, right.
They're mostly non-smoking venues. It'd be part of his contract.
I saw Doug Stanhope here in Victoria a couple of years ago, and I was like, "You smoke like a chimney when you're on stage." The same for Bernard Black from Dylan Moran when he was on tour here, but he quit smoking at the time. So Doug Stanhope, I think, was still smoking and walked out on stage in Victoria, and I was like, "Is he going to light a cigarette?" And he did. He actually did. It was at I think it was at the Forum. No, it wasn't at the Forum. The Astor. Did I see him at the Astor? I think it was the Astor. Anyway, yeah, and he lit a cigarette on stage, and I was like, see, technically in Victoria, you're not allowed to do that, but if it's part of your act, I suppose...
I think we definitely should look into that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking into that. Imagine smoking a stogie doing a gig.
It would be.
It'd be great. Sit it on the amp, fuck up the valves.
Well, that's the beauty of smoking pipes, is that they used to put the rollie in the neck of the guitar.
Yeah,
you know, and then it'd go out, and then that's it. And so you wouldn't burn through all your tobacco like you do with the tail. It was the same with the pipes. Like, it'll go out in 2 seconds flat. I can just relight it when I'm ready.
Well, so like, but how much? You only going to put it a little bit. I thought, because I always thought you put rolly tobacco in them.
No, so you can.
So
I mean,
like
you can put burley tobacco in a pipe, but rolly tobacco is shag cut, and most pipe tobacco is ribbon cut. Okay. So shag cut is obviously really thin and light and easily rollable. If I handed you a pouch of burley tobacco, but it was ribbon cut, you'd tear the paper. You'd find it hard to actually keep it together. It's just fatter. It's just fatter. It's just thick tobacco. Yeah. So when you put shag tobacco into a pipe and you smoke it, it just incinerates straight through because it's so thin. The flame just incinerates the tobacco inside of it. Ribbon cut tobacco, because it's thicker, takes longer to burn. So you don't just blast through it.
Yeah, well, is it hot? Is it like you get, because there's so many different tobaccos in there, is it still smooth? Like,
yeah. The smoke itself, or the texture, the smoke. Oh God, I can't even tell you. It's like It's the best fun you can have with your clothes on. But then if you take your clothes off, it rivals sex.
All right, so pipe tobacco or stogies?
Look, honestly, if I could, I'd smoke cigars all the time.
Yeah,
and I think that's generally a pipe smoker thing. They're like, look, we would smoke cigars all the time if we could, but pipes is your compromise tool, and then you smoke cigars on occasion. No, I don't inhale these. These are pipe tobacco is like cigars is a tasting tobacco. It's not a inhaling sort of tobacco.
I sometimes inhale my cigars.
Yeah. See, I always describe people who do that as tough cunts. And that's you. That's your category.
No.
I'm not one of those guys.
I've got a technique to it. You blow half of it out, and then you inhale that last little bit.
See, if I need a bit of energy for something, I'll do that a little bit. I'll push out 2/3 of it, and then just inhale the last bit because it really like some pipe tobacco is just so charged with nicotine. You come out like Usain Bolt. You want to run a fucking marathon.
Really?
Not a marathon. You want to run a sprint. Yeah.
Nicotine's never done that to me.
Oh man,
maybe because I'm used to other substances that may cause that.
I had another rope that was called Irish.
That sounds fucking nasty. That shit.
Irish Black X, and it was a pitch black tobacco, like
Jesus.
And can't even. I used to chew it because it was so harsh to smoke.
What? So you can chew that?
Yeah,
like,
you can just. I used to cut a coin off and then just put it between my lip and my teeth and just suck on it or
someone
chew
gave me
it.
that. Like some American dude I met.
Snooze.
No,
like the actual chewing tobacco.
Yeah, right. He's like, oh, you'll like this because I was smoking darts so much. He's like, you'll like this better. And put it there, I'm like, this is burning my lip. And I'm like, now I just kind of want a cigarette. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, it does that because it's so charged. Like it feels spicy. It used to incinerate the inside of my mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, geez. But that's the same stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of chewing. You don't get any chewing tobacco.
Nah, but you can chew pipe tobacco as long as it comes in rope form or plug. So plug is when it comes in a block. Okay. And it's like just a cube of tobacco, and you can cut it off or you can break it off and break it up with your fingers.
Oh, word! So it's kind of like hash. In a way.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if someone saw it, they'd be like, "You got a block of hash there?" Like, no, it's pipe tobacco. Chill.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. Well, we're going to move on from the tobacco subject because I want to get through a bunch of stuff. I want to go. Okay, it's two things. Because I've been watching a lot of stuff that you do all the time. You're a very entertaining person to me. You know, and I'm glad that we're mates now. But I remember you used to be on TV.
I was, yeah. I was on Common Sense.
Yeah. And like when you were doing Man with the Van.
Correct.
I think everything you did made me love that thing more. Like when you became a poster, I'm like, fuck yeah, posties, you know? Fuck yeah, man. And every time now I see a Man with the Van, I'm like, fuck yeah, Man with the Van. It's
all
awesome.
my partners and girlfriends have said the same thing. Like, whatever occupation I'm doing, they notice it all of a sudden. They're like, now I just see posties everywhere. I see Man with the Van trucks like every 5 minutes. Like,
100%.
Once I've done it, you know what's happening.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But I did, not to bring it up, and we can edit it out, but I remember the one episode that I saw, you were talking about how you fucked your pillow.
I know exactly. I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I was gonna go there. Yeah. How much shit did you get for that after the fact? And when you said it, were you like, holy fuck, I just said that on TV?
Yeah, there was definitely, it wasn't shot live, but there was definitely a moment there because we didn't have total control over what got edited into the episodes.
True.
So there was a moment I went, ooh, I wonder if I want to deal with that. But then, like, because the shoots were 8 hours long, I think I said that somewhere in the first third of that day's shoot, and then there was still, like, 6 hours to go. So I just went through that and almost completely forgot that I'd... So then I watched the episode on the Thursday night as it went live to Australia... Not live to... As it aired to Australian TV. And I just went, oh my God, I forgot about that. And I start hyperventilating and stuff. But I used to have Twitter open on my phone and I was following the way that people were commenting on the show as it was airing. I didn't get any shit for it so much as I had 1,000 people send me their first masturbation stories.
Fucking really?
And I'm not even the weirdest one.
Okay. Boom. Which one was?
100%
which one was?
Look, I don't know, man. Like,
Alyssa, you would know. Does that count as masturbation? It does. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I thought it because I don't know. I didn't know.
I'll fuck whatever the fuck I want. I'll fuck a pillow. I'll fuck a pig.
Yeah, but you're 14 and you don't know what fucking is. Well, I didn't. Like, I went to school with people who had lost their virginity before I'd even masturbated for the first time. So, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, you rub your dick on something and it went off. And I was like, that absolutely felt incredible. But more women wrote to me after that segment than men did, and it was obviously a lot more interesting because they're using phallic objects, and guys just normally use their hand. That's super boring. But I'm getting blowing a hot hairdryer on their vagina while they're rubbing their clit. Pussy, cool. And then but toothbrushes, electric toothbrushes was super common. But for at least 24 hours, my DMs just blew up with people going, "Oh my God, I just watched that." My first time was, it's almost like it set something free. Like people were just like, "Oh, I've been given permission to talk about the first time I masturbated." I dug that. That's
actually a way better reaction than people get. I think that you can see the turn in humanity now where everyone's like, oh, we're just accepting everything.
But it's that thing now, isn't it? We're far more progressive than we used to be. I mean, 30 years ago, I might have been shunned for admitting that I fucked a pillow on TV. And now I'm like...
Dude, when I saw that, my love for you grew because I'm like, who hasn't done that? And... fuck yeah, this cunt said that on fucking television. Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I was like, fuck yeah, now I can't stop looking at Man in the Van things. Yeah, so toothbrushes and hairdryers.
Yeah, someone was blowing a hairdryer on their pussy while they were rubbing their clit. Like the sensation was more intense, I guess, because it's hot air.
Girls?
Yeah, a lot of toys come with heating sensations.
No
stuff,
shit.
So.
See, I didn't actually know that.
No, but would you use a hairdryer?
No, I can go buy a better toy than using a hair.
Because you're an adult now. But when you're a teenager,
I wasn't that smart.
Pretty much anything phallic.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Or anything.
No, but would you say that you would give the hairdryer a go to see if that works? You know?
No, I can't be bothered with the hairdryer.
It's like that scene. It's like that scene in Mad Men where you see Don Draper's wife just sit on the edge of the washing machine while it was going off, and she comes sitting on that, and you're like, whatever works. It doesn't fucking matter, does it?
I guess not. Fucking hairdryer's a new one though. I mean, what if it gets too hot? I do like heated lubes. Where I didn't
even know. What do you mean heated lube? Is that lube mixed with deep heat, or do you actually heat it up in the microwave?
No, kind of like you put it on and it just warms up while you're using it, so it makes everything wetter and hotter. You don't know about heated lube?
I didn't know about heated lube.
I thought that was like stock standard thing. I love heated lube, but I know a lot of my partners didn't like that shit.
I'm gonna go check out heated lube.
Oh yeah, I think it feels amazing. You can get different temperatures. I'm pretty sure.
Different temperatures.
Yeah, you can get
you can get cooling ones as well.
Fuck off, they say cooling.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work on a man though.
See, at the more intense end of the scale, you could have a Carolina Reaper lube, which is like 10.
Oi, that's what we're doing. That's the next product for the Rusty Trombone, Carolina Reaper lube. You know?
Jesus.
How hot can you take it?
How hot can you go?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically like deep heat, when you for sore muscles, and it gives you that cooling heat effect.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about the cooling one.
Yeah.
I might give that a crack.
See, some people use ice, don't they?
Well, I know my ex-boss told me about how he got one of those lifesaver ice poles and stuck that up.
Yeah, right.
I didn't think that would be enjoyable.
I imagine it's better than a mud shark.
I said, what colour you get to?
Very good.
How am I going to go? I mean, yeah, that'd probably be uncomfortable at best. Probably more for him, you know.
If he was touching it, yeah.
If he was touching it.
If he was... No, but as you said before, you get the opposite effect, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. Would you, would you be able to stick like an isopole up there comfortably? Would that be a thing?
I don't think
maybe.
so.
I'll give it a crack.
Each to their own, really.
You're like, I don't know. Fair enough.
Depends what type.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit of music, even though I wanted to stray away from music.
No, totally.
But you got a new song coming out. It's coming out soon.
Kinda. So, in 2018, we were signed to Baron Von Weasel Music, which was a local management agency, we were with The Balls, Australian Kingswood Factory, and Devil Monkey at the time.
Yep.
and as like an audio visual, an audio business card, the manager Magoo had the idea to get all 4 bands to cover one of each other's songs in their own style. And so we released that as the Singing Bird Sessions. Now, they booked out Singing Bird Studios in Frankston, produced by Andy Simpson for 2 days, and each band got a 4-hour slot. And we didn't record just 3 songs, it was also 1 original each as well.
Yes.
So we basically had to record a song an hour for 4 hours and get everything, squeeze everything into that we wanted done on it.
Was it like a live session?
It was a live session, yeah.
Oh,
so the original session sort of, I guess, like we like a beefier tone, and you know, I like to dub guitars and put solos over the top of stuff. So when we did the original Singing Bird sessions, they were a bit more sparse, but live and exciting, and you know, you can hear the scratches on the strings of the guitar and shit, and there was no noise gate on anything. It was great. Yeah. So during lockdown, when COVID-19 hit, we had just released Great Ocean Road. We were planning to do a Great Ocean Road EP tour. We were going to go on tour with Dave Arden from South Australia up through the Northern Territory, culminating in a show in Darwin. And we were going to keep working on our first 2 albums, which we decided to record at the same time while all this was going on. And then COVID-19 hit, and we had all the floor tracks of the first 2 albums down, but we had to cancel all the Great Ocean Road tour, and we were up to the part of the albums where we needed the string quartet to come in and the brass band to come in and overdub over the top of it, because we're doing everything like a...
The string quartet.
Well, we're recording like we're a band in the 60s and 70s, where, you know, the band lay down their tracks and then the arranger organises the strings to come in and record over the top of it. That's the way we're doing it, except that it's taking a lot longer.
Willie Nelson said he hated about his first records. They always made him have a string quartet.
Sure.
It wasn't until they pissed that off that he was like, fuck it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because at the time you had guys like Glenn Campbell and Neil Diamond and John Denver, and everything they did, the studio would go, okay, get the arranger in, we'll get the strings down, get the horns down.
Like the stock standard country thing.
Yeah, that's right. And unlike Willie Nelson, guys like John Denver and Neil Diamond and Glenn Campbell are more like pop country. So it was, and they'd get the Wrecking Crew, that session musician group from LA to come in, and they just go over the top of everything, and everything was like super high production. I mean, I like that stuff. I don't listen to it all the time, but when we decided to record our first 2 albums, which already had a bit of a 70s vibe to them, I was like, fuck it. Let's go all out. I want a fucking orchestra in there when we start recording.
That would be dope.
So, anyway, COVID-19, people restrictions, you can't have a certain amount of people in the studio, and then the studio wasn't allowed to happen at all. Do you remember that break between lockdown 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Where we thought we were in the clear, and then 2 came back with a vengeance. And I think it lasted maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So in that time, we booked some time in the studio, and I was like, look, the albums aren't going to come out for months, because everything that we were going to do has been pushed back months, obviously. And, you know, we had the arranged parts, but we still needed to book the musicians to come in, and there was still people restrictions, you know, like per space. So we couldn't have all the amount of people that we needed in the studio to record at once that we needed. So I was like, let's do a bridging release. Let's get the Singing Bird sessions from the Baron von Weasel year and dub over the top of it everything we wanted to do the first time if we had the luxury of more than 4 hours in the studio. And that meant like putting, you know, the Meteor Mods Hurt Circuit pedal on it and the Fuzz Zone pedal on it, and it's like destroying the fuck out of the breakdown on the Balls track 4th of July, and then like getting as much feedback in there as possible. And then we decided to record Fuck Off by Pissed Idiots in Sydney. I messaged Andy Simpson. I got Magoo's blessing, our manager at the time, to take the stems from the original Singing Bird sessions and dub over the top of them. The only thing we kept were the bass and the drums, because it would have been too hard to try and record at the same tempo and then over the top of it. There was a bit of, you know, tempo movement, because the natural feel of the thing, because we weren't recording to click at the time. So yeah, message Andy, he gets back to us with the stems, and then we went over the top of it. So the original Singing Bird sessions is the last recorded evidence there is that once upon a time I used to sing with a dumb fuck American accent. Because I sing with like a fairly thick like Australian Murrumbidgee accent now. And like there were lots of inspirations for that. It was, you know, The Nation Blue, Camp Cope, like just a lot of Poison City bands.
I started doing it.
Hey?
I started doing it.
That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, no, years ago, because it was funny in our reviews too. Someone was like, "Love the British accent," and I'm like, "I'll take it." You know, but,
Yeah.
no, but I don't know. Years ago, I decided because my voice is nasally, pronouncing words in an American accent was actually harder,
Sure.
and I wasn't hitting those notes. But when I did them in my own accent, I was like, I should just be doing it. I'm like, I'm fucking Australian. Just singing Australian.
But this is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a cultural cringe around singing with their own accent. Now, the English had to break through it first.
Yeah.
Like, the Americans just sort of culturally dominated the world since after World War II. And, of course, you know, America being the birthplace of blues and of rock and roll, like, it just kind of became the gold standard, you know, response to singing that style of music. You just sang with an American accent. But the British eventually broke away from it. But there's a reason so many people thought that Led Zeppelin were an American band. Because, like, Robert Plant, like, you know, he walks up to the microphone and he says, "Good evening!" Like, in a thick English accent. And then he's singing everything in these long sort of American drawls. And you're like, it wasn't until, you know, you had bands like Slade would sing in a British accent. The Beatles were singing in a British accent. But so many were still singing with an American accent.
I think it is weird that so many Australian bands or musicians sing in American.
See, I cringe over that. People are like, "Oh man, you sing with it." Like, look, I mean, fuck Smith Street Band, but like, you know, people used to give Will Wagner a bunch of shit because, you know, I can't stand the sound of his voice. But at least he's singing in an Australian accent, you know. But
No, I don't think it's the accent. It's the
probably
shocking singing. Like, to be fair.
Fair. I thought some of it might have been the accent, but look, maybe you're right. It's a special taste.
Definitely not the accent.
Okay.
You know, you can either hold a note or you can't. You know what I mean? And then someone went, "That's really cool," and you're like, "Fucking great." So bowl cuts, you dicks.
So yeah, I don't know. I cringe about like it's. Like the Arctic Monkeys used to sing about this. Fake Tales of San Francisco. You listen to that. He's like, you know, he's from fucking, like, he's singing about, you know, California, but he's never been there. He's never been further than Temple Bar.
Another thing I don't do either is sing about places I've never been. I'm always, I like storytelling. The older I'm getting too, because I write country stuff now.
Yeah.
But I just make it more real. Like, everything I write is just something I've either done or whatever, and I think that makes you a better songwriter because it makes it more real and people they feel that better.
It's more autobiographical. It's more genuine. It's more sincere. It's more authentic.
I think people can't actually write lyrics properly where they're just mimicking.
Or they've done nothing with their lives and they've got nothing to draw on. It was funny. Like, I remember someone saying, like, what I can't stand about the Australian music scene is just so many like middle class white boys from Sydney singing about fucking nothing. Like, well done, you did some MDMA on the weekend and you went to a party with your boys and you've got a mullet. Like, that's not singing about something. You've got no experience behind you. You've done nothing. Your music's fucking boring because of it.
That's my Triple J theory, was the fact that it's just a bunch of rich white kids who are able to afford great production.
Exactly. It's like when you walk into those
management.
gigs, it's like it's a young band and all their gear is brand new Marshalls and you're like, your parents just bought you everything. Like, who was it we played? I remember we played with...
they got really famous really quick and could afford those Marshalls.
Yeah.
Not knocking those guys.
I remember watching Sisters Doll. We played with Sisters Doll at Mr. Boogeyman Bar for a Beyond Blue fundraiser a few years ago. And then I saw them compete for the opening spot for Motley Crue when that happened at Cherry Bar, band competition. And that was exactly my opinion of Sisters Doll. It's like, you didn't start from the bottom and work your way up. You don't have beaten up old, great vintage gear.
Australia's Got Talent.
That's right. Yeah, that's how they got their start.
We did a gig with them. I you know, for what they're worth, like, that's not my thing, but I think the effort they put into the production and stuff, like, totally not my thing. But I also thought that those dudes were really awesome. Only because I fucked with their gear a bit, and I was a dick to them. Like, to their gear. Yeah. Because they had the pyrotechnic things.
Yeah.
And I was, the barrels and stuff, and I was rolling around on stage, and I, like, kicked one over. Because everyone was putting their beers on it, so I just kind of thought it was a barrel. But I had, like, fireworks and shit in there. not happy. But they were cool about it. They're like, "Yeah, better it's whatever and stuff." But I was like, "Oh, that was such a dick move." Like, because that's not my stuff. Like, you shouldn't be kicking over other people's shit.
I agree, and look,
that was a hard dick on me. And like and they even like the next gig we did with them for To Kill a Mockingbird with the bar, they're like, we didn't fucking bring a bass amp or something. They're like, dude, just take ours. All those dudes, I think, are really like they're really good, hardworking musicians. Even like when you look at it, you're like, oh, this looks pretty.
Do you know what it is for me? Now, I take on board everything you're saying. They are probably lovely guys. I think. I remember when they competed for the Motley Crue spot, and they cut the room down the middle. There were people who were so pro Sisters Doll, and there were people.
What was this gig for the Motley Crue spot?
There was a band competition run at Cherry Bar.
Okay,
and it was just Motley Crue put it up. They said whoever wins this band competition can open for us. I'm pretty sure it was Motley Crue, and Muscle Car won. Poodle's band.
Okay,
but the band competition was held at Cherry Bar. And, like, to even be in the running, like, everyone had to rack up a certain amount of votes and everything. And I think Sisters Doll are either Newcastle or Sydney, so they came down to Melbourne for the competition. So they ran the comp there. Look, I mean, when it came down to it, I think the two closest sort of... I can't remember if Massive competed or not, or if Brad was just there. But I remember Brad Marr being there, and... I was just kind of like, if anyone was going to open for Motley Crue, in my mind, it would have been Massive, or it would have been you guys. Like, someone who is unabashedly, like, hard rock.
Ugly Kings.
Ugly Kings as well.
Ugly Kings.
So, yeah. No, I remember Muscle Car won, but, yeah, Sisters Doll cut the room down the middle. There were people who were pro-Sisters Doll, people who were anti-Sisters Doll. I hadn't spoken to them the time that we played with them at the Beyond Blue fundraiser. I think what rubbed me the wrong way, and what rubbed a lot of Melbourne people the wrong way, is the image of pretense. Yeah. So they print their own lammies, and they wear lammies like there's a backstage area. It's not Rod Laver Arena, you know. And I think that rubs people the wrong way. And the parents are such stage parents, and they set up the pyros at the front of the stage.
Believe me, I get all that too. Like, believe me, I always hung shit on it, and like still do, and still will. But like,
same
them specifically, like
on a personal level, they're nice guys.
And I think as musicians as well, like. All that shit I wouldn't do in a million years.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way. But I would say that their work ethic and what they have achieved and what they've done, you know, like, I wouldn't go that way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But that's probably why I'm not going to get that far as well. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to suck that dick. But good on them for, you know, doing the, you know, Australia's Got Talent. I fucking hate that show. I would never do it. Mm. But, like, good on them for...
I guess they did it on their own terms. Like, they didn't use backing tracks. They played their own instruments.
I think they used backing tracks.
Fuck Sisters Doll. Sorry, I just can't with them. I just can't. I try.
I use backing tracks.
Look, as you said, on a personal level, they're probably nice guys. I just can't do what they represent, and it's too polished.
It is too polished. It's, for me as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for me, I don't know. I think I have a different opinion, like, because I thought all that shit too when I saw them, you know. But I also thought that their live performance, for the people watching, fucking loved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people who don't care about that stuff, because they put on a show. I can't deny they put on a show. The makeup.
I think you and I have our certain fan base of real people who want to go see real live music that is on the radio, right?
Yeah.
But when people go see them, they want to see cunts who are on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, they want to see that kind of band. So that's why they do that.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? So it's a different level.
Look, if they play to their audience, power to them. Like, I can't fault
Well, that's what I think they do. They play to their audience, you know, and they went for that. And at the end of the day, they got top 2 for that Motley Crue gig.
Yeah, they did, yeah. They
were
definitely second.
They definitely have a big force and following behind them. So there's obviously people that love that image. I personally wouldn't do it myself either, but they do. You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. I think anyone who's killing it is always going to be cunts like us on a podcast going, fuck those guys.
Yeah, it's all, there's an element of tall poppy there, I guess, maybe. Yeah,
like every.
I probably wouldn't cut down.
Like, what the fuck? Or like half of Triple. I spent my whole life never listening to Triple J, and I thought I owe it to myself as an artist to probably give it a go. So on the job site and that, I fucking I turned the channel over to Triple J for a year, which one of my bosses was not happy with.
Sure.
You know, I just thought, I'm going to get into this. I actually found some artists that I love.
Yeah.
Well, to this day, and I will say this, everything. The best Australian band going around right now is Psychedelic Porn Trumpets.
They are great. They are just
the best.
spectacular.
They are the best.
So you found
Australian
them
band.
through Triple J, did you?
No, I found it through Lockie, who we have this, what do you call it, like a ritual now. So every time we're out of town,
Yeah.
like, I don't smoke weed that often, which is hard to believe for most people, but I don't.
Sure.
But when we're out of town, if we're just fucking around, we always go for a long walk. We have a joint, and then we show each other music.
Nice.
Yeah, and he showed me Psychedelic Porn Trumpets. And at the time, I was like, bro, like, I'm pretty high.
Yeah.
It's pretty high now. But I will say, he took me to one of their gigs, and that was one of the best gigs I'd ever been to.
Yeah, right.
Like, in my whole history of festivals and all that shit, that gig was, the mosh was awesome, but not too right. No one's been a dick. And, like, my old ass, I went in there going, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to mosh a little bit, and then, you know, when they do a slow song, I would go stand in the corner, you know, with the other old people.
Yeah.
And that never happened. I double dropped some pills. I ended up just crowd surfing to vomit, and then came back in and just loved every second of it. It was bloody great. But back to you.
Yeah, so this release that's coming out, so February 26th comes out. It's the same, it's 3 of the same Baron Von Weasel tracks that we did for the Singing Bird sessions, plus we decided to sort of use it as an opportunity to showcase the point that we were at between winter 2018 and 2019, because that was a reformation period for Sordid Ordeal. Like, we had just done.
I thought you guys were with Headstone Records.
We are now. That's who we're with now. So we were with Baron Von Weasel for a year, and then the contract expired. I don't think Baron is.
Would you recommend?
Hey,
Would you recommend to other bands?
Headstone Records.
What was the other one?
Oh, Baron Von Weasel. I don't think
Weasel.
they're managing anyone at the moment. I think
Okay.
they're done with that. So they were a management agency, not a record label.
Yeah,
but they
big
definitely
difference.
perform some of the functions that a record label would perform. And I think it was a very cool collaborative idea to have all the bands cover one of each other's songs.
That I thought when you posted that, I was like, that's brilliant.
It's pretty
I was
good.
like, I don't know how many people are going to buy that. If it sold well?
No, it didn't sell out. There's still some left, but I would definitely. So we're not really asking anyone to pay for the sort of the recharged tracks, or donate us any money. If I would encourage people to go get the original record. So what we've done.
You got vinyl.
It was on
that.
vinyl.
Yeah.
They did it. Like, how often do you see like a collab record of 4 bands on vinyl?
Exactly. I thought it was great.
It probably hasn't been done. It's probably been done all over the world, but you think of like the most hallowed example of that in recent musical history would be the Deep Six from Seattle, where you had Soundgarden, the Melvins, but they did originals, not one of each other's.
Yeah.
But it showcased what was happening in Seattle before grunge exploded. Like, this was the late 80s, you know, and so obviously this isn't at that caliber, but I think it was in the vein of that style. It was really cool.
I think that it sparked like imagination in me. I'm like, fuck, that is a really great idea. And I was like, what 2 bands that aren't those bands, like in Melbourne, that you would like to see swap like that?
Do a cover of each other's songs.
Do a cover of each other.
You know, I think I kind of already saw it. Like, when Tropical Fuckstorm covered a Nation Blue song,
Okay.
Mansion Family, and I was like, because you know, Tropical Fuckstorm being the like the sequel to the Drones. And the Nation Blue, well, you know, it's Gareth Lydiard's next project after the Drones.
Better
And I
name,
loved the
Tropical
Drones,
Fuckstorm.
and I love the Nation Blue. And then watching Gareth Lydiard's new band, Tropical Fuckstorm, cover a Nation Blue song, I was like, this is kind of everything that I love rolled into a track. You know,
right.
and it is watching one of my favorite artists interpret a tune from one of my other favorite artists, which presumably is one of his favorite artists as well.
Who'd you like to see local?
Local. Aside from the fact that they are Melbourne, just before, who would I see? I would like to see. Let me think about this for 2 seconds.
I got a couple. I'd like to see.
I wanna
Two-Headed
hear what-
Dog and Ugly Kings swap. a
Swap
song.
tracks. Yeah, that'd
Swap
be.
tracks. And I'd like to see Sordid Ordeal do a Sister Soul song.
Very well done, you jerk.
Could be done. It could be done awesome.
I would like to see... you know what? I'd like to see...
I'm putting you to the challenge right now. I think it'd be good if you went through the discography.
You know what? I'll have a look. I'm not ruling it out. Our recording list is pretty full at the moment, but I'll have a look. Stay on me about it. I would like to see Dr. Colossus cover a Devil Electric song and vice versa. I would love to see Devil Electric do Son of a Pig or Stupid Sexy Flanders or something.
Sexy Flanders.
I know it's taking two Doom bands and asking them to do one of each other's songs, but there's difference.
I would ask for Devil Electric. Do it, but without fuzz pedals.
Jesus.
Do it acoustic.
Yeah, that would be so
I think
ominous
that would fuck
as well.
Christos up.
No, I don't think it'd fuck Christos up. I think it'd be incredible to hear Pip do like one of those 60s divas versions. Like you know, you got Grace Slick from the Jefferson Airplane, whose voice would absolutely destroy. Pip would destroy stuff acoustically. I haven't listened to that much. I haven't listened to any of her stuff, I don't think, outside of Devil Electric.
Great challenge, though.
Yeah, Jesus, that's an idea. So yeah, Feb 26. That we've decided to call it A Year on Sydney Road.
Yes.
And that sort of it's a good showcase of what we were like 2018 to 2019 before we started working on the albums, and now we're going in a completely different direction.
And that's what the song's about.
Well, they're all covers, like because it's the same. No, it's a record. It's an EP. It's a 4-track EP. Okay. So it's
an EP. Yep.
It's Last Call by Australian Kingswood Factory.
Yep.
And they covered our song Citizen. It's 4th of July by The Balls. And for the original Singing Bird sessions, they recorded Blackstraps. And it's Blank USB by Devil Monkey, sorry, Devils. Okay. And
just more promo for them, it's cool.
Devil Monkey, and they covered our song Tigress, which they did mind-blowingly well.
What's it like having someone play one of your songs?
You know what? It was an experience that was definitely accelerated by Baron Von Weasel, because we were probably years away from anyone ever wanting to cover one of our tracks. So Magoo having this brainchild and then making us do that to each other sort of gave us all an experience of what it was like to have someone cover each other's tracks. And I don't think any of us developed a god complex out of it, but it was definitely interesting. It was because, like, listening to Tigress being played by Devil Monkey, who they're a rock band, but they've also got this electronic, almost Trent Reznor-ish kind of feel about them, and that, you know, they incorporate like a lot of electronica into the still heavily distorted guitars and stuff. Yeah. It definitely took Tigress out of a blues rock context and blew it into a way weirder place. It was much heavier and way more aggressive.
Do you reckon they nailed it?
I reckon they absolutely killed it. And Australian Kingswood Factory...
And that comes out... We can all have a listen to that.
Well, that's still out. Like, you can buy the vinyl, but if you go to the Baron Von Weasel Bandcamp, that's all those tracks are still there digitally. You can listen to them. Yeah,
definitely hit that up. I'm doing that straight away.
Have a listen. It's if you get to the point where you're happy to compare the tracks, like, it is interesting to see how we've all done each other's.
I'm totally going to compare the tracks and give you my notes.
I really dug how the Balls did Blackstraps, because they took it from being like a blues rock banger into this like. This dormant, lumbering doom track. Like, they really added some sinister, heavy element to it. I could listen to that for hours.
We played with the Balls once, and I thought those cunts were fucking
amazing. They are fucking great, aren't they?
They are a great band.
Yeah.
And a great name.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot by a band name.
Yeah, they need to... As soon as COVID's done, I want to see them go back to Germany again, because I think before COVID, they'd gone twice, and they were absolutely nailing it, and... yeah, Germany wants more of the Balls, but I think Melbourne should also want more of the Balls.
Melbourne definitely
I want some more balls.
I did want to ask you about your Catholic past.
Yep.
That was something I wanted to talk about.
What do you want to know?
Well, how shit it was.
Yeah, shit house.
But, like, I just feel like, was it, you know, because I'm not religious, and I mean, I like studying religion. I like looking into each individual one. I
Sure.
think everyone's got one piece of the puzzle somewhere. But I understand, like, on your degree, it'd be fucking terrible. Like, that's not really practicing it, is it?
No, it's interesting. We weren't the most religious family in our area, but we weren't the most lax either. There were Catholic families in Wagga that didn't have a TV. We were allowed to watch
Word.
TV, but we definitely had the ban on The Simpsons and South Park and stuff. We weren't allowed to watch anything that was a bit too...
See, that's hard out. That's some hardcore shit.
Yeah, I guess because I grew up with it, it doesn't seem like it. But to someone who didn't grow up in that environment, it would seem pretty hard up. I guess my comparative experience is the other kids who are my age who are from way stricter families, and me just going, "Geez, I wouldn't want to be from that family."
Fucking hell.
It's guys from atheist
Well,
families saying that to me.
I can't ask this question while I'm fucking smart. No, but it was something I wanted to talk to you about. Because I know it was a big part of you that probably made you the fucking beastly animal that we see before us today, who's now influencing us with great, positive, happy vibes.
I'm a cliche of an ex-Catholic.
You are 100%.
Obsessed with sex.
Yep.
Like into
All the good shit.
into as many
Not hard drugs, though.
no, not hard drugs, not heroin, but like well, not even drugs at all, really. But like boozer, smoker, like I just kind of ex-Catholics take like fish to water to vice because they had all this repression, you know, and then
Well, that's the biggest.
It's the
problem about
slingshot concept, isn't it? Like you pull it back far enough and it goes straight in the other direction.
Yeah.
Heaps far.
it. I mean, because like I went to like Christian camp and stuff like that when I was a kid and stuff. I went there for the trampolines and the lollies and shit, but
You didn't go for the ideology, but that's
Well,
that's how they
didn't
lure
force
you
it on
in.
me.
That's-
They didn't
see,
force it on me.
No, but
But
see,
they do
a
look-
pedophile does that. How do you lure a victim in? You offer them
They
candy
didn't
and
touch
fucking.
me. I wasn't cute enough at the
No.
time.
See,
Now I'm offended, you know, because I was like, what's wrong with me? But they were Christian. I don't know how many Christians, but I know Catholics were. They're definitely.
yeah. Look,
enough.
I mean, Christianity is just a umbrella term for a lot of different denominations, and you have to go back into schisms and history over 2,000 years old
Yeah.
to sort of see where churches split off. But yeah, like Catholics. Part of the reason Catholicism is so bad for predatory behaviour and pedophilia is that their priests are required to take an act of celibacy,
Yeah,
which not
100%.
many other Christian denominations have to do. So it creates this unnatural...
Did you hear about that? I don't know if he was Catholic.
Okay.
The priest who got done having a three-way with two dominatrixes on the altar, and the church was like, well, we're taking action. We'll just burn the altar. Burn the altar.
I think that was Catholic. There was another one I heard of a couple of years ago. It was there was a massive gay orgy in the Vatican City between a bunch of cardinals and bishops, and it was on for young and old, and the Vatican police turned up because of a noise complaint, and it was a bunch of clergy involved in... The Catholic Church from the top down is nothing but hypocrisy, and not just on sexual offences, but also...
It's fucked.
Even in Wagga, where I'm from, the Catholic Church would be one of the largest landowners in the area. Like,
Yeah.
I remember because my father used to get a lot of building contracts for the Catholic Church in Wagga, and I remember him telling me how the Catholic Church leases land to another church to use for one of their church buildings.
Oh,
I was just like, imagine being that hypocritical that like you would use another religion to profit rather than like hold your ground on your own religion.
I think they lose all credibility when you think of the Vatican with all the money they have, and you're like,
poor
wouldn't
people.
Jesus, yeah, poor people.
Oh,
like, wouldn't you
know-
just feed all these people?
Exactly.
It's like, no, they're doing coke and raping little boys.
That's exactly what it is. Like, I remember around the same time that orgy was uncovered in the Vatican City, there was a cardinal in Germany who had been laundering money from the Vatican to build his own villa, like in his area, in his parish in Germany. So, no, look, it's the corruption is
So the Americans have it right.
widespread.
They got the little Christian boxes. You can buy that, and you press it, and it tells you a prayer every day and shit.
No, I'm not
Was that
even aware of that.
The Olstein dude.
That's high.
You know, he's got one of those mega churches and shit.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
Pentecostal churches and
yeah,
stuff.
you can fucking call up, and he's like, "It's $1,000 for a
Oh,
prayer."
of course
or
it
some
is.
shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
You know what
that-
they used to call that in the old, before the Lutheran Church was created, indulgences, and that created a church schism. Like, you weren't allowed to sell entry into heaven based on how much money you gave a church.
That's all churches.
This stuff was uncovered like over 1,000 years ago, and we're still dealing with the same horseshit now. It's just that it happens with televangelists, on TV.
Do you think Jesus was a real dude? He existed?
I don't know. I think there's one other text besides the Bible that references a person that just basically describes Jesus, but I don't know if that's been historically disproven.
Do you hold anything from religion
Hatred.
apart from that? Like, do you take anything from it, or do you just like totally? Fuck this.
You know what? I still retain PTSD from my religious years. So I used
That's
to,
fucked, really.
I used to love watching Gay Paris. The Sydney band Gay Paris.
I've only heard the name.
Oh.
I should check them out.
God, they're
I
a
love
spectacular
the name.
band. They used to come down to Melbourne. I remember the first time I saw them, they played at Cherry Bar, and their catch cry from their singer to the audience was "Hail Satan." It was like, "Hail Satan!" And then the whole audience was supposed to go, "Hail Satan!" And I remember, even years after I left the Catholic Church, years after denouncing all religion and announcing myself as an anti-theist, even then, it made me so uncomfortable. I went, oh.
Saying hail?
Saying hail. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I wanted to say it. I wanted so bad to say it. I was stood 2 feet away from Beck Pickles. It was like, "Hail Satan!" Like, I wanted to do it, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yes, that conditioning, Max, I can't even tell you how much it brainwashes you, and it gives you PTSD and anxiety. Like, I still rip my nails apart just sitting here from lack of something else to grab or smoke or hold on to, because I have all this built-up anxiety from being in this religious family and part of this oppressive religion and bottling up all of my feelings. Years later, I could be sat in a bar, drunk off my fucking head, watching one of my favourite bands. They say "Hail Satan," and I just can't fucking say it. And I've said it since, and I can do it, and I've got to tell you, even at 32 years of age, I still wouldn't do it.
Or something. You should do like a demonic seance.
I'd be falling back into the same trap, wouldn't I? Because I'd be theistic again. I'd believe in something.
Do you reckon it'd be like a fucking heroin rush where you're like fucking diving in the center? Like, I know Trenda can get us a goat, right?
I know a lot of people that can get us a goat.
Alyssa can get us some fucking scented candles and shit, like blueberry.
Where are we at on that goat?
The goat?
Yeah,
we're going to sacrifice it to Satan or something, you know?
Whoa.
Do like
Why
seance.
am I the supplier of goats? I don't get it.
I know you.
I just pick one up from a goat farm.
Well, I thought you had like the pentagram
Down rural Victoria.
like necklace and shit like that. I thought.
Oh yeah, I have
done
a
it
pentagram necklace, so
you're
automatically
a goat
have.
I like that.
You
It's a symbol of the occult to the point where Max goes, "You wear one of those, you've got access to goats." Like,
Right.
it's...
I thought,
conditioning.
Yeah, like what the fuck? You
I like
I'm
that.
I'm sorry I put you in such high regard.
Do you know I
Satanism.
I visited Alistair Crowley's old house, the Boleskine house, on the banks of the Loch Ness
Word.
in Scotland.
Jesus.
The house that Jimmy Page bought and lived in for a while.
Did you feel a bit creepy there?
It was fucking creepy, Max.
It was?
Like, yeah, even as an anti-religious, dismissive of all like spiritual systems person that I am, I went to the Boleskine house and went, there's something fucking dark going on here.
Yeah, some
like,
weird shit happened there for
I
sure.
honestly
bullshit.
I honestly had a fucked up thought at work the other day. I was like, what if like Jonestown, like what if that kind was right and they all died and ascended to a better place?
that
what
thought
if that
occurred
kind-
to you, did it?
It
Are
honestly
you
did.
okay?
No, I'm just saying, like, what if that motherfucker was right? Like, what if he was like, and then they're all like,
Stay away from
"Oh,
the
fuck
Kool-Aid.
I won't. But I'm just like, what off on the 1 in a million chance that kind was actual?
Have
accurate?
you listened to to the Jonestown tapes?
I did listen to him, but I was drunk and I wasn't really taking it in.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, he convinced a bunch of people, and they,
A lot of
and they,
people.
like, he convinced people to kill their own kids. Do you know how out of a leader you need to be?
He
Dude, I lead my band, and I can't get those cunts to do shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're fucking, I'm going to drop out of band practice.
It's
and
amazing,
shit.
isn't it? Yeah. You can't.
Yeah,
you
you're
can't
like,
get.
what the fuck? You got this guy to kill his kids. He's like, fuck yeah,
you-
we're
you-
going. We're going to fucking heaven.
We can't get 4 people into a room to play some music for 2 hours
Yeah.
on the same night, and this guy convinced 1,000 people to top themselves. Amazing, isn't it? I agree with you. It's incredible.
Like, think about that.
You'd have to be a really good narcissist to be able to
Well, that's
manipulate
what
people.
Hang on.
clinically.
You're talking to two musicians. When you're talking about narcissism, musicians are all over that shit.
There is a slight difference between clinical narcissism and people with narcissistic.
Don't fuck up my
tendencies.
podcast.
All right, sorry.
I've got the joke
They can
here.
be very
Yeah, I'm
convincing
working on the
people.
thing. Well, I think narcissists are more involved with themselves. You convince weak people, maybe. But this dude got a whole, like, how many people were there?
I think it was a 1,000 people. I'm pretty sure
1,000 people.
Jonestown.
1,000 people, and they'll like just drink this shit to their kids. Like,
Yeah, listening.
what if
to,
it was right? What if it was like they actually did go?
I have listened. Look,
I'm just saying that was a fucked up thought I had. I was like, what if the cunt was right? You know, what if they're like 1,000 people better off now, and they're the last 1,000 people that could be there? You know?
Yeah. Nah.
Maybe.
I guess I'm just
James
I'm
was
so
cool.
burned out from my religious experience that I'm just like
You're a better
I-
person for
I
losing it.
couldn't even hypothesize that something else might be correct. You got to remember that like
Well, what do you
I
think?
grew
What
up
do
my
you think
whole
now?
life. I grew up my whole life.
What do you
being-
think? What do you think? What do you think's now? What do you think now?
No, I don't know.
Nothing.
Like
Are you
yeah,
just,
I don't.
Are you just living up?
Look,
to
you know what it
interpretation?
is? It's living every day like it's my last, which unfortunately means sometimes working at Australia Post. But,
Dude,
like,
you made me love post offices just for that shit. All your posts and shit with your big Martin Schultz, you're like, fuck you, I'm posting. It's like, imagine people seeing you deliver mail. You know, like it's just the best.
wait till yeah. I'm gonna put some more cat videos up later. Like one of the best parts
100%.
of my job is
I
just
saw the letterbox, the munted letterbox, and you're like, oh, just deliver mail. You just put it on the fucking ruined.
oh
letterbox,
yeah,
some
the ruined
shit.
letterbox. Did you
Yeah.
see the Ned Kelly one?
No.
There's a picture of me delivering money letters. But you see, how's that for a Freudian slip? You're just like, oh, Ned Kelly's taking my money. Like, there's a Ned Kelly letterbox I delivered some mail into. And then there's another one in Glenroy. Someone's put a toilet lid and toilet seat where their letterbox is. So you lift up the toilet lid.
Have you
and
posted
you put
that?
yeah, I haven't done it. I'll post that one
Oh,
next
you
week.
have to post that one.
It's so good.
I just kind of think, I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong. I like lay bricks. I'm like, you're out there with the people, you know.
You make more money doing what you do than I do what I do, and
I do that. I'm just more backbreaking. I'd love
yeah,
to ride
it
a little
is.
bike. You got a postie bike? No, you got the
I've
four wheeler.
got the 3-wheeler, one of those little EV vehicles, those little electronic
You lucky
vehicles.
bastard.
No, it's
What,
awful.
you reckon it? How is that awful?
Do you know why?
You got a go-kart, you ride around all day. That's fucking awful.
It went to half charge today after doing
It's
most
electric.
of my round. It's electric, and it wouldn't crawl up the hill for the last part of my round. So I had to go back to my delivery centre with a bundle of mail, hand it to my team leader and say, I'm really sorry, but I can't deliver this because it just won't get up the hills anymore. And he cracked the fucking shit. So he threw a pen on the table. I've got to get back on the fucking bike again. Because he went out on a motorbike,
Yeah.
which is an electro, obviously still petrol, so he can go up these hills. It's got a bit more power to it. But man, they're garbage. Honestly, it was one of Australia Post's biggest mistakes was investing in this vehicle. Look,
Really?
to be fair, the hauling capacity's bigger, but they're just designed badly. Tiny battery, gutless motor on them. Can only do
I'd love to
45k.
see you guys on some four-wheelers.
Look, New Zealand have 4-wheelers.
Bullshit.
No, they do. So I would like
Not
to
only
see us
that,
on 4-wheelers
you can
as
flick
well.
your cigarette butts wherever the fuck you want in New Zealand. And you can open carry alcohol wherever you like. To the beach. I don't.
See,
Flick ciggy butts anyway.
Mixing these two topics together, did you see the TikTok of the Australian postie cracking the VVs and like standing on his bike as it's rolling down a hill and stuff?
That's how they should be.
We're-
Enjoy your job. You know? If I could
while it
drink
lasted-
and lay bricks comfortably, like if I would, but you can't. You can't drink. You have to wait until you knock off because it's a hard labouring job. But if I could drink while I work, I fucking would all the time.
I had this fantasy with Jimmy Coelho about being a lumberjack. How good would it be to just be in a forest all day, punching darts, just swinging an axe into a fucking tree? Now, like,
Dude.
environmental degradation aside, that would have been
You have to
that
bring it
would
up.
have been a kick-ass job back in the day.
Fucking awesome, cutting trees down.
Just grow a big beard. You can stink all the time. No one cares. You sleep in a log cabin with your other workmates, and then once a week you roll into town to get some food, beer, and go to the brothel, and then you go back out into the forest and you punch darts and swing an axe again.
Okay,
that
that's
would
what
be
I-
spectacular.
That's what I fucking do already, apart from the axe.
Yeah.
I stink and just drink piss. But okay. God damn it. All right, I'm so pissed because we have to wrap this up. But I'm definitely going to have you back on.
We
because
should do it again.
There's too many things that you've done that we need to talk about. I didn't even get to ask you about the live nude drawing. As I saw you do that, I'm
Life
like,
modelling.
I've always wanted to do that, but I didn't think my dick would be big enough to fucking have the confidence to stand in a room full of people draw me.
Neither did I.
But you think there might be one country like, that's a bit rough. Hey, oi, this can't give him a D. Like, he doesn't know, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. The fuck is that? What, are you fucking blind? Why don't I get a bit closer? Draw it now. Draw it now.
Just sit in his face, stand on his desk, like, draw it now.
Please. God damn it. I've got to fucking display this shit. I'm posting it on Facebook. That's social media these days. No, thank you, man, so much for
My
coming
very
on.
great pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
And if you look to your right, there's a gift.
I'm
Oh,
outrageous.
yeah, shit, we got the gift. Okay, so everyone on my show, everyone on the Rusty Trombone gets a gift. You get, obviously, I'm going to show it to the camera, a bottle of Jameson, because I know that's one of your favourite whiskeys.
That's my whiskey.
That's your whiskey.
my whiskey.
100%. And this came from Johnny from the Vineyard.
Thank you, Johnny from the Vineyard.
Yeah,
I've
100%.
played your venue. I'm so sorry we went over the decibel level. We shouldn't have done that, but we did because it was quite quiet.
100%.
Fuck the neighbours who are complaining about live music and shutting down venues in St Kilda.
You know what?
I know he's been under fire, and fuck the new neighbours in that place for what they've done to the scene.
Johnny's one of the... There's a couple, but he was one of the only people that told them to go fuck themselves and took them to court.
Yeah,
Johnny's
right.
mad cunt.
Thanks for having me very much.
I'm definitely going to have you back because we have... There's
There's more to dig into.
There's too much shit to dig into, and we didn't get given enough time. This is fucking bullshit. But this has been the Rusty Trombone. I love you, motherfuckers. We got another 9 episodes coming up. Fuck yes.